Executive Director and Group CFO, Dixon Technologies, joining in. Saurabh, a very good morning to you. Was the budget a bit of a shock and an awe? One assessment is that mobile PLI is being phased out. That is the conclusion coming in from the huge drop down in allocations to that segment. That's going to hurt you, isn't it?
One can't say for sure. See, clearly, the positive is, of course, as your colleague mentioned, ECMS approval, ECMS scheme, the budget allocation has increased to 40,000 odd crores. And clearly, we have taken a lot of steps to increase our backward integration play, whether it's display modules or camera modules. And also, we are looking at other categories for mechanicals and other backward integration categories. Of course, there is no specific announcement for extension of PLI. Of course, we are very deeply engaged with the government. We feel that the response from the government has been positive. They also realize that the component ecosystem will take some more time to get created. So there may be a possibility where they give more support to this sector. But yes, it has not been announced in the budget. But yeah, government can always announce it even after the budget, like the way the ECMS scheme was announced in the middle of the year with a 22,000 crore outlay, and now it has been increased to 40,000 odd crores.
So fair enough. The ECMS scheme is a positive, and I'll come to that in more detail. Just trying to understand what happens if there is no extension in March or April this year. And yes, they can announce it afterwards, but the fact that the overall budgetary allocation has dropped so dramatically hints at the possibility is not going to happen. As a company, how are you preparing for that alternative to play out if that does happen? What is the revenue contribution right now, and how much will it hurt?
Yeah, so we have already explained to our investors that our margin impact in our mobile business, which is broadly around 3.5, 0.5% impact, 0.5% margins will get impacted in case the PLI doesn't get extended, and which we have said that we should be able to not only cover those by our backward integration strategy of displays as well as camera modules, which will be largely a captive consumption play for us, because we already have a large order book both in IT hardware, both in mobile phones. So we are not expecting a margin increase in our in 26-27, because all this backward integration play will be ramped up and stabilized by Q2, Q3 of the coming financial year. But we feel in 27-28 there can be 100-120 bips margin expansion, even after taking into account the 0.5% margin that will go away.
Are those timelines syncing between your backward integration playing out and the possibility of this? You've talked about the margin hit. What would be the absolute hit if these PLIs start getting paid out?
Yeah, so in case this year mobile revenue should be closer to 37,000 odd crores. So 0.5% of that is the broad hit you can assume. But we feel that our camera module acquisition was done already in September. Now we are making significant investments for expansion of capacity, for deepening the level of manufacturing. We have already been approved as a beneficiary under the ECMS scheme as far as camera modules is concerned. As far as the display is concerned, we are setting up a large capacity for mobile displays, for automotive and IT hardware displays, which should where the trial should happen in the end of Q1 and beginning of Q2. Mass production should start happening in Q2. The response has been very encouraging, both from our mobile customers as well as from our automotive clients. And we feel that the ramp-up stabilization should start happening by Q3 of next financial year. And by 27-28, almost 80-85% of the integration of all this, both the backward integration play, should happen, and which should lead to a large margin expansion for us.
Saurabh, just good morning, Neeraj. Just one quick question. When the PLI schemes were originally announced, I mean, the belief was, right, that there will be a 5-year PLI scheme, and by then the size and the scale of that will be given to companies will ensure that there will not be a further extension possibly needed for something like that. So should that be expected for almost all sectors enjoying, and all segments within your company as well, which have a PLI benefit right now ongoing, but might not get a major extension?
Yeah, so Neeraj, that's one point of view, and another point of view in the government is that the government also realizes that the component ecosystem, they have just announced the ECMS this financial year only. So there's one set of thought which is there in the government that they may need to extend it to give more support till the time the component ecosystem evolves. So initial part of the hard work has been done. Large capacities have been created. India is already exporting large mobile phones led by Apple. The companies like us has created large infrastructure, investing in team, training and development of our people. But my sense is, yeah, so it's a mix. I would say it's a one can't say for surety, but these are the two thoughts which are going on in the government right now.
Okay, so just one bookkeeping question. For Vivo, if the government approval were to come March, late March, end March, if you will, could it lead to some cut in the guidance for Vivo for FY27?
Yeah, Neeraj, that's a possibility because we would also take at least 45 days to consummate the
Exactly, yeah.
transaction. Yeah, so anytime the approval comes in, you imagine another 45 days for us to start, for the Vivo JV to start getting reflected in the results. So yes, the numbers can potentially be on the lower side to what we had guided for, yeah.
Therefore, I mean, just trying to understand if it, let's say, comes March, and therefore you kind of use 2 months of FY27 for setting this up, from 65 odd million, if I'm not wrong, was the guidance. How much could the potential cut be?
Yeah, so we had guided for 65 million, taking that also into account, and also we are also in discussions with one more large brand. So combination of our existing brands, Vivo JV, and the new brand that we are talking, new ODM player that we are talking to, we feel that is the kind of numbers that we should be targeting for. Yeah, there can be some numbers lower than 65 is what we think, yeah. And depending on what time when do we get the Vivo approval, yeah.
Got it. Well, we certainly wish it happens sooner rather than later, Saurabh. And interesting point. I mean, we still need to have the component system developed. So some more hand-holding possibly needed. Thanks for sharing that. And all the best for the quarters ahead, Saurabh.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you so much. Thank you.